You spent 10 years answering a question. The number was the answer. 10 million pounds. Written in a notebook at 22 and built toward for a decade. You believed that arriving at the number would feel like arriving. At 32, on a Tuesday morning in March, the number arrives, the pressure lifts, and nothing replaces it. And you are left with a question. Nobody warned you was coming. Part 1. The number. You are in a coffee shop in Shoreditch at 11:23 on a Tuesday morning in March when the notification arrives on your phone. The exit has completed. The wire has cleared. The figure is in the account. You read the notification twice. You put the phone face down on the table. You look at the window. Outside, a bus stops and opens its doors, and a woman with a pushchair negotiates the step, and the bus moves on. You ordered a flat white when you sat down 40 minutes ago. You have not touched it. Your phone shows a message from Sev, your business partner for 6 years, the person who was in the room when the idea was a slide deck and a spreadsheet, and 2 people who did not yet know if it was going to work. The message reads, "Did you see it come through?" "Yes," you reply. "How does it feel?" he asks. You sit with that for a moment. The honest answer is, it feels like a Tuesday. It feels like a notification. It feels like the specific flatness that arrives when a thing you have been moving toward for so long finally stops being in front of you, and you discover that the moving was the thing, not the arriving. You type, "Good. Really good." You put the phone down. You have imagined this moment in various forms for 10 years. In the imagined version, there is a feeling. A specific feeling. Warmth or relief, or the particular weight of something completed. In the imagined version, the feeling is the point. The number is the delivery mechanism for the feeling. The feeling does not arrive. The notification arrived. The feeling did not come with it. The flat white is cold, and you leave it there. Part 2. The week. You are in your flat in Bermondsey at 10:15 on a Wednesday morning, 9 days after the exit, and you have no meetings. This has not happened on a Wednesday at 10:15 in the morning since you were 22 years old. For 10 years, Wednesdays at 10:15 have been inside something. A call, a pitch, a negotiation, a problem that required your attention before it became a larger problem. The Wednesday morning existed as a unit of time with a function. Today, it exists as a unit of time with no function, and you are sitting in it, and the sitting is louder than you expected. Your phone rings. It is Oren, school friend, still at his firm, called as soon as he heard, and is calling again now to check. "How are you doing?" he asks. Genuinely? "Quiet," you say. "Quiet's good," he says. "Is it?" you say. A pause. He is not sure what you mean. He has not been here. He is still inside the building. Still at the stage where quiet is the thing he is working toward, the reward he has assigned to the future version of himself who will have earned it. He cannot yet know that quiet is not a reward, that quiet is a texture, and the texture requires a structure around it to feel like rest rather than absence. "You'll figure it out," Oren says. "I know," you say. You hang up and sit in the flat and listen to the Wednesday. Not because you are ungrateful. Because the Wednesday has no spine, and you have spent 10 years building a life with a spine, and you do not yet know how to build one that does not rely on external pressure to hold its shape. Quiet is not what you were expecting. Part 3. The advice. You are at dinner with a friend named Clemmy at a restaurant in Islington on a Friday evening 3 weeks after the exit, and Clemmy is saying the thing that everyone says. Clemmy has known you since university. She is a documentary filmmaker. She earns £38,000 in a good year and has never once made you feel the difference, and is one of the reasons you still have a functioning sense of who you were before the money. She is genuinely, uncalculatedly pleased for you. The pleasure is real. The advice is not. You should travel, she says. Properly. Not a week. Months. You've earned it. Maybe, you say. And rest. Actually rest. You've been going for 10 years. You nod. You order another glass of wine. You do not say the thing you are thinking, which is that rest requires a context that gives it meaning, and the context has just been removed, and without the context, the rest feels less like recovery and more like waiting for something that is not coming. 3 other people have said travel. 2 have said property. 1 has said therapy, which is the most useful suggestion and which you are already doing. And your therapist, a woman named Dr. Vass, precise and unhurried, said something in your second session that you have been turning over since. You're grieving the goal, not the work. The goal. I don't feel like I'm grieving, you said. That's what grief feels like when you're not expecting it, she said. Clemmy refills your glass. You'll figure out what's next, she says. Give yourself time. Time is not the variable. You have eliminated the constraint. The constraint was the thing that made time into something other than time. Enjoy it is not a plan. Part 4. The attempts. You are standing outside Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto at 6:50 in the morning on a Tuesday in May, and it is extraordinary, and it is not enough. You booked Japan 6 weeks after the exit. 7 weeks. 3 cities. No agenda. You have spent 9 days eating well and walking and reading and taking photographs of things that deserve photographs, and the trip is objectively one of the finest experiences of your life, and it is not producing the feeling you came looking for, which is not Japan's fault, and is entirely the fault of what you came looking for. Your phone shows a message from Sev. How's Japan? Beautiful, you reply. Coming home soon? Not yet. You are not yet ready to sit in the Bermondsey flat at 10:15 on a Wednesday with no meetings. Japan is at least an agenda. Japan gives the days a shape. This shrine, that train, this meal. The shape is borrowed from geography rather than built from purpose, but it is a shape, and a shape is better than the absence of one. Back in London, you try other shapes. An advisory board for a startup in Clerkenwell. 3 hours a month, a nominal equity stake. People who are where you were at 27, and who look at you the way you looked at the people ahead of you at 27. You run 5K every morning. You read more in 6 weeks than you read in the previous 2 years. You take a course in something you have always been curious about, and complete it, and feel nothing at the end that feels like the thing you are looking for. The attempts are not wrong. They are just not the thing. Not because you are broken, because you have not yet identified what you are actually looking for, which is the prerequisite for finding it, and which is harder than finding it once you know what it is. You are still looking for the feeling. Part 5. The structure. You are sitting at your desk in the Bermondsey flat on a Monday morning in June, 4 months after the exit, and the laptop is open and nothing needs to be done. The desk is the desk where you worked for 3 years before the exit. The chair is the same chair. The light comes through the same window at the same angle. The surface is familiar. What is absent is the thing that used to sit on the surface. The specific weight of a problem that required you to be here, that would worsen if you were not here, that had a claim on your attention before you had finished your coffee. You meet your old mentor for coffee, a man named Casper, who exited his second business at 38 and whom you called 3 times in the early years when you needed to understand something you could not figure out from a book. He is 54 now. He met his version of this Monday morning 16 years ago. What are you looking for? He asks. I don't know, you say. He nods. That's the answer, he says. What do you mean? The not knowing is the answer, he says. You've spent 10 years knowing. Every morning you knew what you were working toward. The knowing was the engine. Now the engine needs a new fuel, and you don't know what the fuel is yet. Which is why it feels like the engine has stopped. It hasn't stopped. It's waiting. You sit with that for the rest of the coffee. He is right. And knowing he is right does not make the Monday morning any easier to sit inside. Here is what you understand now that you did not understand at 22 when you wrote the number in the notebook. The number was never the destination. The number was the question. A specific, concrete, answerable question that organized your mornings and your decisions and your tolerance for discomfort and your willingness to work in a direction that had not yet arrived. The question was the spine of the days. Removing the question removed the spine. The spine of the days was never the money. Part 6, the question. You are in your flat on a Sunday morning in September, 6 months after the exit, and you are building something. Not a company yet. Something smaller. A framework. A thesis about a problem in a sector you have been reading about for 3 months. Notes in a document that is 22 pages long and growing. An email thread with a woman named Tully who left a firm in Singapore to work on the same problem from a different angle and who is the first person since the exit who has talked to you about something other than what you have done or what you should do next. Your phone rings. Clemmy. Are you working on anything? She asks. Starting to, you say. Something real? Trying, you say. Good, she says. You were terrible at rest. She is correct. You were terrible at rest. Rest was always a performance. You performed recovery so that you could get back to the thing. What you understand now is that the thing is not something you retire from. It is not a phase with an end point. The people who told you to enjoy it assumed that enjoy was a mode you could inhabit indefinitely. It is not. Enjoyment requires contrast. It requires the other mode, the pressing, urgent, unresolved mode, to give it meaning. The harder problem, it turns out, is not making 10 million pounds. It is making a question that is worth 10 million pounds in the other direction. A question large enough and true enough that your energy has somewhere to go, and the mornings have a reason before you have finished making coffee. At 22, you found a question by necessity. The question arrived from the pressure of having nothing. The pressure made the question obvious. At 32, with 10 million pounds and no external pressure, you have to construct the question deliberately, from choice, which is a different kind of difficulty. Not the difficulty of climbing, but the difficulty of choosing which mountain is worth climbing when you no longer have to climb anything. That is the harder problem. The hardest thing you have done. Somewhere right now, someone your age is 2 years from their exit. They are working at 11:30 on a Sunday night because the problem requires it. They wake up on Wednesday mornings knowing exactly what Wednesday is for. They have urgency they did not choose and cannot put down, and which is the most valuable thing they own, though they do not know it yet. They have the question. The question was the whole thing.